Hi, and welcome to your practice today. Thank you for joining me. My name is Mary. For today's practice, it might be helpful to have a block. If you don't have one, that's perfectly fine. Um, let's start on our backs today. So, just to settle in, feel your back resting on the earth. Find a position where your legs are comfortable. Your knees could be up or your legs straight. I like to have my feet wide and let my knees knock together. And as you're settling in, draw attention to your breath. Notice the sensations of your inhales and your exhales. And notice if there are any parts of your body that are holding tension, including your mind. Sometimes our thoughts can create a tension loop. So allow your breath to settle you, let you sink in. And as you're resting here, consider the thought that now is the only time that matters. It's really easy for our minds to get caught up in things that have happened and reliving those things, but also worrying about the future, having anxiety about the future. And it's really understandable given our current reality of why it might be difficult to let go of trying to figure out and plan what the future is going to be like. I'd like to share a quote from John Zabat Kim. The only time you ever have in which to learn anything or see anything or feel anything or to express any feeling or emotion or response to an event or grow or heal is in this moment. Because this is the moment that any of us ever gets. You're only here now. You're only alive in this moment. So throughout practice today, I'll be asking you to consider what is happening right now in your body, what is happening right here in your mind. So roll onto your side and then come up to an all fours position. So if you've been practicing with me for a while, you'll notice that I typically start my practices pretty much the same way. And I do that for a reason, to get us into a position that's comfortable, that we know before we start doing things that are a little bit different. So start with your hands beneath your shoulders, your knees about hip width distance apart. And we're just going to start with some gentle cat-cow movements. So breathing in as you draw your chin and tailbone up, and then exhaling, drawing your chin towards your chest, arching your spine, tucking your tailbone as you exhale. And then move with your own breath, breathing in the now and the right here, breathing in and then exhaling out. Focusing on your breath, allowing your breath to keep you here and now. Come to a flat back position, curl your toes, and bring your knees off the ground. Bring your navel towards your spine. Now draw your hips up towards the sky, towards downward dog, keeping your knees very bent. Let your neck relax. Maybe give a yes-no shake. And then start to pedal your feet to stretch out the back of your legs. So Still continuing to move with breath, so breathing in as one heel comes up and then exhaling the other heel down. And let's do that a couple times. Just feeling the openness in the back of your leg, noticing what's happening in the backs of your legs right now. Feeling the flow of your breath, noticing the sensations of your inhales and your exhales. When you're ready to take a breath in, look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and forward fold. Press your feet into the earth. As you rise up, bring your arms out to the sides first and then up towards the sky. Draw your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Let's start with our sun salutation. So press your feet into the ground, bring your arms out to the side and up. Draw your hands through your heart center and then tent your fingers to the ground. Step your right foot back into a low lunge. And then plant your hands, step your left foot back into downward dog. Breathe in as you come into all fours. Exhale, sink into child's pose. Rest your forehead on the mat. We'll take a couple breaths here. When you're ready to take an inhale, bring your right hand towards the outside of your mat and then place your left hand on top of your right. You could rest your head on your right arm and notice the sensation of the opening along your left side. Feel the expansion along your left side as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, feel your chest and belly sink into your thighs. Come back to center, rest your forehead on the mat and exhale. And when you're ready to take a breath in, press yourself up to all fours. Curl your toes, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to a straight back halfway lift. Draw the crown of your head forward. Exhale, hinge and fold. Your knees can be bent if that's more comfortable for you, but still noticing the sensation along the back side of your legs. Press your feet into the earth as you rise up. Expand your arms out and up. Draw your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Take a deep, full breath in, arms expanding out and up. Draw your hands through heart center. Forward fold, tent your fingers, step your left foot back into a low lunge. Plant your hands, step your right foot back into downward dog. Breathe in, come to all fours. Exhale, sink into child's pose. Extend your arms forward, rest your forehead on the mat. Take 2 breaths here. Now bring your left hand towards the outside of your mat and then place your right hand on top of your left. This time you could rest your head on your left upper arm. Now feeling the sensation of opening along your right side body. As you breathe in, feel the expansion. Bring your arms to center, rest your forehead on the mat. As you breathe in, press yourself to all fours. Exhale, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands. Walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and forward fold, and then press your feet into the earth to rise up, reaching, extending. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Let's do another round. Press your feet into the earth, reaching, extending. Bring your hands through heart center, tense your fingers, step your right foot back into low lunge. Now bring your right arm up to the sky into a simple twist. Exhale, bring your right hand down, step your left foot back into plank, pressing your heels towards the back of the room. You could go on your knees if you would like. Now bring your knees to the ground and lower to your belly, squeezing your sides with your arms as you lower, and then rest your forehead on the mat. When you're ready to take a breath in, lift your head and chest off the mat, draw your shoulders back and down, press the tops of your feet into the mat. We'll take a couple of breaths here, feeling the sensation in your upper back. Breathe out as you lower your forehead to your mat. Breathe in, press into all fours, and then curl your toes to bring your hips up to downward dog. In downward dog, really reach your tailbone up to the sky, but draw your heels towards the ground. So feeling the lengthening along the backside of your legs. Notice if you're holding any tension in your neck, and just let that go. Let your head relax, your neck relax. Now look to your hands. Walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift, straight back, crown of your head forward. Hinge at your hips to forward fold, and then press into the earth to rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Take a full deep breath in, reaching, extending. Hinge at your hips to forward fold. Tense your fingers. Step your left foot back into a low lunge. Step your right foot back into plank. Lower all the way to your belly, resting your forehead on the mat. As you breathe in, bring your chest up, draw your shoulders back. Maybe press up a little bit higher this time into Cobra Pose. And we'll just hold this for 2 breaths. Lower your forehead to the mat. Press up into all fours, and then curl your toes on your way to downward dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and fold, and then press into the earth to rise up, reaching, extending. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Now come to the front of your mat. I'm just going to turn so you can see better. We're going to come into Tadasana, or mountain pose. So let's build it from the ground up. So notice your feet on the earth. They may be about hip width distance apart. And feel yourself grounding into the earth. So feeling all 4 corners of your feet into the earth. Take a moment here. Notice as you travel up your legs. If your knees are locked, give them just a slight little bend so that the muscles are doing the work in your legs. And that relieves some tension on the joints, your knee joint. Moving up, straight forward hips. Now draw your navel towards your spine. Bring your shoulders up towards your ears, and then allow your shoulder blades to draw your arms down and back. Feeling an opening across your chest. Standing tall, feeling the length along your whole body. So feeling expansion towards the top and feeling the grounding in the earth. Your palms might come out just a little bit. So we'll just take a couple breaths here. You might even want to close your eyes if that's comfortable, or just find a spot where you can gaze and just draw your attention to your breath. So now bring most of your weight to your left leg. So you can tent the toes of your right foot just while you're getting your balance. And we're going into tree pose. So you could come to tree pose resting the back of your right foot on your left ankle. Maybe bringing your hands to your heart. You could bring your right foot up towards your calf. Maybe reaching your leg and then placing your right leg into the inside thigh of your left leg. So find a position that works for you. You could keep your hands at your heart, or maybe bring your arms up. Maybe cactus arms. Find a position that works for you. And then come to stillness. Sometimes it is helpful when you're balancing to find a point to focus on. Maybe a little bit in front of you and down. Now bring awareness to the here and the now. Notice where your thoughts are. Notice if you're anticipating what's coming up next. Feel what's happening in your mind and your body right now. Okay, you can release your right leg down. We'll take a full breath, inhaling, and then exhale. Bring your hands through heart center and down to your sides. Let's move to the other side. So bringing most of your weight to your right leg, tenting the toes of your left foot as you gain your balance, and finding a foot position that works well for you, either at your ankle, calf, or inner thigh of your your right leg, but being careful to avoid pressure on your knee. So either put your left foot above or below your knee. Finding a hand position that works for you. Maybe your hands at your heart, maybe up. Finding a position that works for you. And then settling in. Balancing poses are really good for bringing us into the now, into the present. Notice where your breath is. Notice if you're holding. And breathe. Notice what's happening in your mind. And come back to your breath. And then notice what's happening in your body. You're here. It is now. Okay, and you can come out, bring your left foot down. We'll take a breath, bring your arms out to your side, reaching, extending, and reach so far that you stand on your tippy toes. And then bring your arms down and come back to Tadasana or mountain pose. Now come to the front of your mat. Have your block handy if you have one. If you don't, that's totally fine. So stand at the front of your mat, press your feet into the earth to rise up. Hinge and forward fold. Tent your fingers, step your left foot back and ground your left foot into the earth. Let your neck relax. From here, straighten your right leg. And then if you have your block, you can either place your left hand on the ground or on your block. And we're going to rise up into triangle pose. So your right leg will be straight. Draw your right shoulder back in space and gaze up at the sky. And noticing where your mind is in this posture. And feeling the sensations in your body right here and right now. Now bring your right hand down. You can move your block away if you were using it. Plant your hands and step your right foot back into plank. Lower your belly all the way to the ground. Rest your forehead on the mat. Bring your chest up. Draw your shoulders down and back. Exhale, bring your forehead to the mat. Now press into the earth as you rise up first to all fours and then come into downward dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and forward fold, and then press your feet into the earth to rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. So take a deep breath in, reaching, extending, and then hinge at your hips. Tent your fingers. Have your block handy if necessary. Step your left foot back. Straighten your left leg. Now place your right hand on the ground and lift your left hand up to the sky, drawing your left shoulder back. Again, you could have your hand on the ground or on a block. And notice where your mind is. Notice what's happening in your body. And then bring your left hand down to frame your left foot. Plant your hand, step your left foot back into plank. Lower all the way to your belly, resting your forehead on the mat. Breathe in, draw your shoulder blades down and back. You can be in a baby cobra or maybe press your chest up a little bit more into cobra. Exhale, lower your forehead down to the earth. Now press into all fours first and then curl your toes to bring your hips high and back to downward dog. Look to your hands. Walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and forward fold. And then press into the ground to rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Now we're going to come into a seated position. We'll come into a butterfly posture or Baddha Konasana. So bring the soles of your feet together, sit up tall, and you could bring your heels in towards you, or you could use your arms to scooch your butt closer to your ankles, but find a position where you feel a stretch in your inner thighs, but don't overstretch. So you can sit up tall and stay here, or you can fold forward. So bringing your elbows in towards your shins, and then letting go. So letting your neck relax. Bringing awareness to your breath. And notice what sensations you're feeling in your body. Maybe feeling the stretch in your inner legs. Bring your awareness to any parts of your body that you might be holding tension, maybe in your shoulders and your neck, and see if there's any way to let that tension go. And we'll stay here just for a couple more breaths. And bring yourself back to right here and right now if you've drifted away. And we'll take one more breath, and then you can rise up. You can give your legs a little shake, and we'll come into a forward fold. So bring your legs out in front of you. Find even weight on both of your sitting bones. Sit up tall, bring your arms up to the sky, and I'm going to fold over, hinging at the hips. So find a position that works for you. So you could have your toes pointed to the ceiling, so in a flexed position, or you could point them forward. And fold to a position where you feel the stretch in the back of your legs, but not so much of a stretch where you feel like you're forcing it and holding tension in other parts of your body. So once again, draw attention to what's happening in your body right now, and what's happening with your thoughts. And use your breath to focus on, to bring yourself back to here and now. Notice if you're holding any tension in a part of your body, maybe your neck, your shoulders. I'll take one more breath here. Now press yourself up to a seated position, and then we're going to roll onto our backs. I don't know, roll onto our backs or lower onto our backs. That seems like a more appropriate term. So when you arrive, have your knees up. Bring your feet to a position where you can just graze your heels with your fingertips. So you might have to adjust your feet forward or backwards depending where you're at. So feel your back settling into the earth. Feel the backs of your arms into the earth. We're going into bridge pose. So when you're ready, press your feet into the earth. Press the backs of your arms into the earth, and then lift your hips off the ground. And notice if your butt muscles are tightly clenched, and see if you can find some relaxation there. And what you'll notice is that your hamstrings, or the muscles in the back of your legs, will have to do a little bit more work. And then you can lower down one vertebrae at a time. So we'll take a breath here, and then we'll rise up to bridge again. So when you're ready, press your feet into the earth, the backs of your arms into the earth, and lift your hips up. Once again, drawing attention to what's happening in your body. And where's your mind? What are you thinking about? And draw yourself back to right now, in this time. Now lower down and bring your knees up towards your chest and just roll from side to side. And then bring your feet up to the sky. And we'll just do and bring your arms up to the sky, and we'll just do some wrist rolls and leg rolls. Let your back sink into the mat, just very slowly. You could switch directions. Maybe switching directions again. And then coming to stillness. You could bring your arms down. And we'll just stay here for a couple of breaths with legs up. Feel your back settling into the earth. And then you can bring your feet down, come into a full body stretch, and then come into your final resting position. So that could be Shavasana with your legs slightly spread apart, your arms out to your side with your palms up. Or if that is not working for you, find a position where you can come into relaxation and stillness for the last portion of our class. So as you're settling in, bring awareness once again to your breath. And then we're going to do a body scan starting at your head. So bring awareness to your head and your face, your tongue and your jaw. And notice if you're holding tension, and let yourself relax. Use your breath to breathe in relaxation and exhale any tension that you might be holding onto. Now, draw your awareness to your neck and notice if you're holding tension in your neck. Breathe in relaxation to your neck. Exhale any tension and feel your head settle into your mat. Now bring awareness to your shoulders and upper back. Notice if you're holding any tension. Breathe in relaxation. Exhale tension. Feel your shoulders and upper back settling into the earth. Now bring awareness to your arms. Notice if you're holding any tension in your upper arm, lower arm, your hands, and your fingers. Breathing in relaxation, exhaling tension. Now bring awareness to your mid-back and lower back. Notice if you're holding any tension. Breathe in relaxation. Exhale tension. And allow your back to melt into the earth. Bring awareness to your legs, your thighs, down to your knees, to your calves, all the way to your feet and toes. Breathing in relaxation, exhaling tension. Feeling your legs ooze and melt into the earth. Now draw your attention once again to your breath. Feel how calm and gentle your breath is. You are calm and relaxed. You are here right now. Now is the only time that matters. There's nothing to do. Now is your time to simply be. Start to draw awareness once again to your breath. Feel your breath deepen. Feel your inhales and exhales lengthen. So bringing in energy and oxygen. Feel some movement in your fingers and your toes as your body starts to awaken. Continue to deepen your breath, perhaps starting to move your arms and your legs. And then when you're ready, roll onto your right side, perhaps drawing your knees into your chest, resting your head on your right arm. Take a moment here in reflection and gratitude. Thank yourself for taking the time for self-care, but also taking the time to be present and be here. And as you move through your day today, think about becoming present at certain times. Maybe challenge yourself on the top of every hour to take a moment to be in the now and be present. So when you're ready, you can press yourself up to a seated position. And once you arrive, draw your hands to your heart. Press the back of your thumbs into your heart. And just take a moment to notice your heart beating. And we'll take one last breath as a class together. Take a full deep breath in when you're ready. And then exhale through your mouth. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.